Hey guys, today we're going to be doing a stock that everybody is talking about, and it wasn't until like 10 minutes ago I had no idea what this company did. I just knew that everybody wanted them, and they were going up for whatever reason. So the company is CCIV, Churchill Capital Corp. I guess they're investing in this Lucid Motors. So I love Lucid. I um, I love electric cars. I don't have one, but I've always wanted one. So I've been a big Tesla fan, car fan of for a very long time, dating back to probably 2016, 17. In 2018, I was going to put a pre-order. Actually, I did put a pre-order in for a Tesla Model S 75D. And the reason that I didn't want it is because the range was a little bit too short for what I liked. So I decided to cancel my order. And after I canceled my order, I started looking into other electric companies that were out there, and Lucid was the first one that came up. Their product is amazing. Their back seats are amazing. I personally like the Lucid more than the Tesla. The revamped Model S is awesome, but I still think that the Lucid is a lot more for me. Now, the only problem I have with the Lucid is that they're running Android-based technology, and anybody that knows me, if you're in the most muscles, I don't like Androids. I'm just not big into that customization. Everything that I have is Apple. Not that Tesla's Apple, but Tesla is way more like Apple than an Android or Lucid is going to be. So time will tell if I'm going to get one. I do like them quite a bit. So great cars. But let's look into how we can trade them. So this is something that I would never, ever buy from a value perspective. It wouldn't happen unless something changed where they started to make money and they started to grow and they became a good company, unlike Tesla, which is not a good company financially. Great company. I mean, they make great cars. I love their CEO, but they just are not something that I would want to own and unless I was trading it. So let's get into trading it and see what we can do here. First thing that I'm going to complain about is the fact that this thing has only been around since September 22nd of 2020. My biggest thing, even when I'm trading, unless I'm doing a day trade or something, is I need at least a year of a chart to go with. I pull up Airbnb in previous videos and say, this is what Airbnb has done. It doesn't give me the whole story. This is the same thing. This is all I have. I look at a chart by saying it's a book. And if I only have from September 22nd through today, which is February 16th, that's like one chapter of a book, maybe. That is not enough information for me to do anything with. Even, let's look at this. Before they came in the news and before they invested in Lucid, by the way, the Saudis back in 2018, maybe at the beginning of 2019, invested $1 billion in Lucid. So it's not like this is the first company to ever put money into Lucid. There was a lot of people ahead of the curve. This is just the big hype thing with all the GameStops and AMC and everything. Now everybody that has a Robinhood account wants to come in and trade this. So look what they did from their IPO date until mid-January. They literally did nothing. They stayed exactly status quo. And let me pull up. I just want to check out the volume that they had during that time. I'm going to pull up my daily chart. Yeah, look at this volume. They had 1.7 million shares so maybe an average of, I mean, if we go back here, they were in the hundred thousands of shares traded per day. So you can see that the volume was non-existent. The company price movement was non-existent. It wasn't until they announced that they were going to do something with Lucid where this thing went crazy. So this for me is going to be a company that I would be day trading, if anything, maybe swing trading, but probably not. And this is funny to me. This little blip right here, this little green thing, that is the 100-day moving average. And it became a 100-day moving average on Friday. So it's been in the market for 100 days. We still don't have a white line, which is the 200-day moving average, because it hasn't existed for 200 days. So just something to be careful about with these things. Let's go back to the long-term chart. Figure out how to trade this long-term if you want to. The first thing I'm going to say before I even start analyzing it is you need to play with stops. If we do anything, we have to play with stops because this thing fluctuates like crazy. Just today, it's up almost 30%. I was looking at it when Don told me to look at this one, and it moved 4% in 15 seconds, and that's just not normal. So make sure you're playing with stops. yeah, I can't even click my 3 months, 6 months, 1 year thing because it hasn't been in existence long enough. So, excuse me. So we came up through the sweet spot. Stock price did nothing. We went sideways for a very long time. All of a sudden, Lucid started to get the conversation going, and we got a little bit of a price jump. More buyers. Back here, you got the price moving up. So you say, why were there more sellers in this than there were buyers? Because a lot of people were buying the stock and dumping it so they could catch a little bit, a big run, dump it, big run, dump it. So a lot of people were buying it and selling their shares to keep their profits. When we got in this little area where things started staying green, that's when people started buying and holding, and that's where we are today. So over the past, let's say, month, we have not had many days where the volume has, the overall volume, because it's the weekly chart, has turned this thing into a negative momentum stock. So it's interesting. Friday was the first time, and let me see if I can zoom in on this just for a little bit more clear for you guys. I'm gonna really zoom in here. So we can see that our red line is just starting to break under our yellow line, kind of moving towards that 80%. You can see at this point, it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon Eastern time. We are getting a little bit of a pullback. So that wick on top means that the price, this was a full candlestick, ran up here, capped out there, and then the price pulled back. So right now we're at 50.55. Earlier we were a little over $54. So the price is moving back on us. If you were playing this and you want to do something, today would have been, based on patterns and based on everything I teach, today would have been a nice day to add because we got a big engulfing candlestick. Now, we are over 80%. So this is something where even if it wasn't an IPO and some kind of hype stock like this, we need to be playing with stops just because we're on top of that 80%. It's more of a risk on trade. Definitely with this thing, you want to play with stops. Now, because this is a company that can move 30% in one day, maybe you're a little bit more liberal with your stocks and your stops, and maybe you're going instead of 5%, 10%, because you can quickly be stopped out. When I first looked at this, it was up about 34%. Now it's up 26%. You would have been stopped out within 15 minutes. So maybe this is something you do a 10% stop on, something like that, just so you don't get stopped out, or you pay very close attention to it. And if you do get stopped out, look for an area to go in and buy back and capture those shares again if you want. So from a weekly or long-term chart perspective, I do not recommend you do this from a long-term chart perspective, but if you want to, go ahead, wait for this green candlestick to fill out again like it did earlier today, or tomorrow we get another engulfing candlestick like such, a big green one like that, which takes out today's candlestick and gives you some more momentum to that direction. So let's go over to the daily chart and look at how to trade this thing from a swing trade perspective, which is much more preferred if you want to do this, but still I do prefer a day trade, and I'll show you a day trade right after this. So because there's such little information on this, just because the company has only been around for about 5 months, resistance, support, moving averages, they haven't had a chance to develop yet. So we do have resistance at $44.14. It broke through today. What I would like to see if I was trading this is this, where we are today, stop there, and I don't want to see a wick that kind of pulls back like this below the resistance line. So what I don't want to see is, pretend this is green. So if this is the resistance, I do not want to see a candle fill out like this and have a long wick like that over here. That is not what I want to see. What I would like to see finish is exactly what we have today. I want to see the big fat part of the green candlestick finishing above the resistance point. That means that there wasn't a breakout point failure. That means that the stock price was able to get over resistance and people did not take their profits off the table and cause the stock price to drop back down from selling their shares. That means that tomorrow we can maybe have something where we get a good green candlestick and engulf out and continue that positive movement. So this resistance point will be a big area. This resistance point up here should be another big area, but we'll see what happens. I don't like that we only have about last week of support. This is all the support that's there, and those are pretty light candles. We have some very light volume bars down here, so there's not much support in there. There's not much support here with these moving averages, especially the 100-day, which just developed on Friday. So this is a very tough swing trade. If you do want to do something with this today, so this video is going to be posted tomorrow. This is February 16th right now. It's going to be posted on the 17th. Remember what the goal of our channel is. The goal of our channel is to teach you guys how to do this. If you want hand-holding, join the Mo's Muscles Patreon level, and I can hold your hand until you're ready to go by yourself and do things. But as far as these videos on YouTube, the goal is for me to teach you patterns and whatnot, how to buy stocks from a long-term perspective, a swing trade perspective, and a day trading perspective. So with this one, this goes for this stock, this goes for any stock. If you wanted to trade this today, you would need the price to get, this whole thing would need to fill out in green. I would need to see something like that, and you buy at the top of the candlestick. And you're going to say, well, why are you doing that? Because you're not buying low, selling high. My whole thing is buy high, sell higher. That is very important. It gives you the highest probability of making money. We're not in this to catch it on the very bottom and sell at the very top. We're in this to get that money right in the middle and have pretty good confidence that we're going to make that money in the middle. Something that I noticed quickly is this bid and ask difference is flying around. It's 7 cents right now. It was just 23 cents about 2 seconds ago. So ideally, this needs to be 1 cent or less, especially with a hype stock like this. That's from a day trade perspective. To recap it, if you want to do something with a stock like this or this stock, make sure you buy at the top of today's candle just to get a little more reassurance that there are still buyers coming into the market right now, and we're not going to get that pullback like I told you with that long wick running through resistance and just filling out the bottom of your candlestick like this. That signifies a change in direction. If you want to know more about that, go to the Trading 101 playlist on Everything Money YouTube page, and you can learn all about what the different candlesticks mean. So let's go over to a day trading perspective, and this is a perfect stock for day trading and exactly what I would tell you to do with it. So we didn't really do anything this morning. It just kind of stayed stagnant. It wasn't until about 1 o'clock Central to, 1 o'clock, let's say about noon. Then we started getting something going. Now, I don't know if that was an influx of buyers for no reason or an influx of buyers for reasons of maybe there was some news that came out that I don't know about. It doesn't matter to me. I recognize a pattern and I start to go with it. This thing started to turn up in green. What we need is our stochastic line, and let me move this drawing tool. What we need on our stochastic line is to be up over 80% when we're going long on a day trade. Unlike when we are trading on regular charts, your day chart and your weekly chart, what we need to see is we need to be in that sweet spot between 32 and 80%. That's where you're going to make your most money. When you're day trading, you need to be, when you're going long, over 80% on your stochastic, and when you're going short, under 20%, and you need to stay there for a long time. Now, this one bounced up and down, as we can see. We have, excuse me for clearing my throat. We had a nice candlestick engulfment right here. We were over 80%, and I would have bought right there. We got a little bit of a pullback here. It didn't drop very much. In retrospect, we're seeing it now of where the final stochastic line filled out. This probably, when it was going, was probably up here just kind of going sideways. But it wasn't until it was calculated after 15 minutes. That's why it looks like it's zigzagging. We got another great engulfment candlestick 30 minutes later. That's another add point. And we were up in this 80%, 90% range over here with actually a great buying volume bar. Volume started to taper off. That's when I'm starting to say, okay, maybe I'm going to start trimming a little bit of profits off the table and see what happens. We did stay up here. We're kind of just consolidating a little bit. We are seeing a little bit of a turn on our stochastic right now. But this is something where if you're in this stock, this is when I'm beginning to start thinking about taking my profits, because we have dwindling volume. You do see that the price is pulling back on you, which means that we're probably getting a little bit more selling volume in there. And our stochastic line is beginning to drop under 80%, which tells me that this run might be over. Let's take our profits and get out. And if you traded this thing correctly, if you would have bought somewhere in this candle, you would have bought this thing at $40, $41 and sold up here maybe $50. That's $8 a share in, what, an hour's worth of time? This is why day trading can be so lucrative. If you catch these things at the right time, you will do very well day trading. I had somebody ask me yesterday, how much money is $200,000 enough to start day trading and making a living doing it? If you do it the right way, yes, that is enough to do it. But you need to follow the rules because you can go broke very quickly. It's something where you need to be ready to do it. And guys, it took me 6 months before I was confident in making trades. It took me 2 years until I felt like I could look at any chart on any platform and say, yeah, I'm going to buy this and I'm going to sell this with very high confidence that the trade is going to work out for me. So that's CCIV. If you guys want to do any of this with CCIV, just make sure you're using stops. Make sure you know what you're doing. If you have never day traded before, if you've never traded before, make sure you're doing this on paper. And that's it for this one. So if you guys are interested with this, if this resonates with you, join the Mo's Muscles Patreon page. I'm going to be doing a shorting seminar, which is exclusively dedicated to going short on stocks. So when this market pulls back, you will know how to make money as well on the way down as you did on the way up. And you'll have all the tools and skills to do it. So that's all for today. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the Mo's Muscles chat.